Hello, Satnam, and welcome to another evening of practical spirituality. I have my screen here, so if you guys are putting a question or a chat or a comment, I will be able to check it, I will be able to access it. And I would, hang on, there's a little echoing. Hello, Satnam, and welcome. Hang on. Okay, I can hear my voice coming out of 5 different computers here. But we're good now. So if you have comments, questions, let's make this class alive. Let's make it interactive. Because some of these concepts that are so ephemeric, that are so subtle, they're very hard to tease out without really throwing some light of conversation on it. So I would love to engage in that conversation with all of you. Because as you are noticing, that if you really grok some of this stuff, if you really absorb maybe even just a drop of these concepts, as you might think of them initially, they do have the power to turn the trajectory of your life. They have the power to change the course of your life. So my effort here in the practical spirituality is to bring to you here in the Western world or in the present modern day world concepts that were so out of reach of normal human beings. They were really just isolated in some yogic texts unless somebody really dove deep into studying these texts and or giving their life to having philosophical conversations. We could really not make it real and practical for us. And for a lot of people, it stays at that level, and that's okay too, as we will understand today. But my journey here with you is to make it so practical, to make it so real, to make it so useful that you begin to carve your life around these realities. So before we get into it, let's take a moment and in the traditional Kundalini Yoga way, let's call upon this wisdom that resides within each one of us. The mantra as we use is Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. We've practiced this for the last few weeks. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. I call upon that divine wisdom that resides within me. So wherever you are, whether you're sitting on a chair or in easy pose like me, cross-legged, take a moment and lengthen your spine, lift your chest, drop your shoulders down, close your eyes. Let's become present to every layer of ourself. See if you can sense that. You will find this outer layer of your consciousness that is hearing my words right now. And you will feel that there's so much going on in this layer. There's thoughts upon thoughts, not just your thoughts, but the thoughts of those around you. You can hear and sense and feel the vibration of the collective consciousness. You can feel all the goings on TV and radios. It's a hyperactive sphere. I would like for you to focus your gaze at the third eye point, also called the brow point, which is the middle of the forehead between the brows. Just allow your gaze to fixate over there, because the moment you fixate your gaze, you also begin to lock your mind down. So practice it for a moment with me. Fixate your gaze and begin to expand your belly out as you inhale. Just give yourself that permission, take your time and lift the chest and open the shoulders. And on the exhale, relax the shoulders, relax the chest, and slowly draw the navel all the way in towards the spine. And then begin again, inhaling belly, filling the chest, opening the heart, opening the shoulders, exhaling, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the heart. And going back to that navel point again. So keeping that gaze fixated, continue to practice this breathing. And you will find slowly that your awareness is going to start to get drawn from the outer layers of your consciousness towards the inner perceptions of your being. This is going to become very real and present for you. So out of a concept and into reality, right here in your experience. Keep going, slow, deep breathing, slow your breath down as much as possible. It's going to take a few minutes, so be patient with yourself, be patient with your mind, be patient with your breath. Begin to follow your breath. Observe where it's moving in your body. See if you are starting to become aware of some inner layers of your human beingness, where there is lesser noise. This shows up in your experience as you breathe. You don't have to go anywhere, do any research. It's right here in your breath. So keep slowing the breath down and begin to acknowledge that within the outer shell of your life, there are other things that are going on. Acknowledge whatever is showing up for you breath by breath. Begin to simply become a witness. Become a witness to everything that is taking place within you, without judging it, without trying to find a solution for it, without solving it. Just become a pure witness. Now keep the breath going and begin to rub the palms together. Press the palms together, press the thumbs against the sternum. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. And let's inhale deeply to tune in. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath and continue to gaze at yourself. Continue to be a witness to yourself. And see what it feels like. And gently exhale. Relax the breath. Relax the palms. And let's take a moment and say hello to each other. If you haven't already, let me know who's joining in today and where you're joining from. As we do that, also go ahead and grab a pen and paper. We might talk about some things that might spark your interest, so you might want to write that down. But the good thing is that these classes are being recorded, which means you can view it again, and or you can also see them at our online studio. If you haven't already joined, I highly encourage you to join our online studio. It's called the 7 Chakra Yoga Global Studio. I'm pretty sure we'll have a link down there for it. And also, please realize that we have been teaching out of our little space as much as possible, doing our best to support ourselves and you. So please consider donating for these classes, and or if that is not a possibility for you, if you are affected by the COVID-19 and especially economically, please consider passing some kind of kindness to someone, some kind of awareness to someone that is useful and purposeful. All right. Oh, wonderful to see all of you. We have Mandy, wonderful, Sumati, Nadia, Yasmina, Tony, hello. So wonderful. So glad you guys joined me today. So it seems like a lot of you have been coming to the other classes as well. So you would remember what we've been talking about. We've been talking about these 4 mirages that tend to take place just because we are in existence. There's kind of like a weird game that gets played. We get dropped into this world, and then there is a huge veil that takes place in front of our perception, and we get lost in our sensory world here. And the 4 things that we've talked about so far are these mistakes that in our veiling, our mental and emotional veiling, we tend to not be aware of. And the first one we talked about was when we mistake the transient for permanent and permanent for transient. Again, if you missed that class, I think you can still find it on YouTube. If not, you can find it on the online studio. The second thing we talked about, when we mistake the painful for pleasureful, and pleasureful, we mistake it for painful. Really odd. The third one we talked about is when we mistake the non-real for real and the real for non-real. And the last one we talked about was mistaking the non-self as self and self as non-self. Now that, again, when we just talk about these, just listing these out, it makes it sound so paradoxical, like our mind doesn't want to wrap itself around it. So the rest of these classes that we're going to be doing is a slow elaboration on each one of them. But I presented to you these 4 problems that create such distortions in our mind that it starts to affect all of our choices. It starts to affect how we live. It starts to affect the relationships we make. It starts to affect the stories that we start to accumulate about ourselves, and so forth. So if you and I are nothing but a sum total of all of our stories, right? We're going through life and we have all these collected stories. And so if this would be my last day today, my mind would want to check into what has my life been about. And all I would find is all these stories. Now, if these stories have been inaccurate, just take a moment and realize the gravitas of that. If our stories have been inaccurate or distorted, then doesn't that make you feel like we wasted our life? If all the information we have collected has somehow hinged upon perception that has been skewed by one or four of these mirages or veils of Maya, then what do we have to show for ourselves? So I presented to you with this problem. This is a major problem, and it seems like it's not under our direct control. So whether you call it Maya or you call it matrix, or you call it the veiling process, we realize none of this is under our direct control. Then how do we sort this out? How do we get free from this mirage? Because it seems to be hypnotizing every human being on this planet. And if we are surrounded by hypnotized human beings, then one person like you and I, if we are starting to sense that there's got to be something more to life, this doesn't make sense. In that moment, you are questioning the collective. You are disturbing the collective hypnosis. So yogis, long time ago, were starting to realize that. So think about it this way. Imagine this. For generations, if human beings have collectively decided, yes, we have collectively decided that our prison is our home. Over time, we would stop seeing the prison as prison because we actually don't know anything else. So we will start to decorate the prison walls. We will start to embellish the prison walls. And if no one wakes up in that generation, no one has a realization to say, oh my God, we've been living in a prison. Imagine what would happen for generations. Well, they would start to gift wrap the lock for the prison and offer it to the next generation. They would take pride in that space that they call home, because whatever becomes our home, we start to take pride in that. We start to get attached to that. So there were people like you and I, long time ago, who were also introduced into this prison as their home. But somehow they had an intuition, they had this slight awareness that said there's something more. There is a world outside of what we have collectively decided as our world. All these misconceptions of the non-real being the real, the transient being the permanent, the way we normally live. There's got to be something else outside of this, because everybody seems to be very happily hypnotized. I'm trying to be careful using that word hypnotized, because I don't want to start another, what do you call that? A myth. We don't want to start another movement to say, wow, this is another cult saying we are all hypnotized. But essentially, we are. When these people, these yogis, were leaning into their intuition that said, well, there's got to be something more. This doesn't seem to lead anywhere. We are not finding any joy. We're not finding happiness. It seems like we are clinging to our misery and calling it joy. In fact, we are competing in our misery. Who's more miserable? So they started to follow that intuition. And in that process of following that intuition, they had to leave their families. They had to leave their tribes, because what they were discerning did not match the collective consciousness. And maybe some of you might have feelings like that as well, that if you say something that you are intuiting about reality, and you introduce that concept into the collective consciousness, which is preconceived and pre-agreed upon, you might not be well liked, or you might not be perceived as sane. So back then, these yogis said, well, we'll take off on our own, and we are very interested in exploring what is the real truth. So all of the yogic science kind of came out of that exploration. And it is as relevant to us today as it was back then, except there's fewer of us who question the matrix. But here we are, you and I, here we are. So if the veil of Maya is creating these issues for us, these yogis were interested in finding a solution for it. Like, what can we do that can open up, that can lift that veil and bring us to a place where we can sense everything as it is? How do I break free from this prison? How do I break open these prison walls so I can experience freedom? Because we don't agree that pain is pleasure. We are not agreeing that everything that's transient and causes pain when it leaves is permanent. So they were not willing to agree to those paradigms. So in their exploration, they followed the layers of human personality. They found out that within the shell, this outer shell, there are other layers within us. And if we keep going deeper and deeper and deeper through the layers, we essentially come to a core within us. And that core seems to be the only thing that is stable, that is real, that is permanent. But they also found another quality of this core. And that quality in itself becomes the medicine, becomes the cure for the veiling of Maya. And that medicine is called witnessing. So let's expand on that a little. So imagine, let's go through the layers. So here's a layer of your senses. Yes, your body. And these senses and body are then connecting into the world around you. We'll call this a globe. Here's the senses. And then if you keep going deeper, you find that within you there's a layer that is intellectual, that has the capacity to think. So we'll call it thinking layer. The outer layer is action. Yes, movement, action. And if you go a little bit deeper, there's so much happening in the outer layer. But if you go a little deeper, and again, you can practice this with your breath. You go a little deeper, you will come to a place where the outer layer will kind of begin to fade, and all that you will become aware of are your thoughts. And then if you go a little bit deeper, you become aware of your feelings that lurk beneath your thoughts. And then the yogis would say, if you keep going, you finally get to a place where nothing is taking place. It's almost like the center of your being is just sitting there and witnessing everything that's taking place in the outer layers. So let's call this core your essence. The center is your essence, and the outer layers are composed of your feelings, your thoughts, your senses, and through the senses, you are acting in this world. One of the core properties of this center core is that it is not moving at all, and yet it is causing everything else to move. Paradoxical again. The more you start to move towards the inside of yourself, you will start to see things get a little more paradoxical. They don't really follow laws of physics. Another property of your essence is that it simply witnesses everything without judgment, without the idea of right or wrong, or even without suggestions. So you would think right now, what is the difference between witnessing and thinking? How often do you use this word in your life, witnessing? Is this part of your everyday vocabulary? Maybe you use it if you're watching a criminal show or in terms of legal proceedings. But this idea of witnessing the yogis found this idea of witnessing was the only thing that could shine a light on every layer of your life's activities. And in that light, you can get to see where the distortions are and where the reality is. So like I said, I don't think this word witnessing is your normal everyday your vocabulary. What is a part of your vocabulary is thinking. So you would say, yeah, Priya, I think about my day. I think about what I said to somebody. I think about how I could have conducted myself better. I look at myself. But as you are looking at yourself, your mind is swinging in the negative and the positive. It is constantly feeling the undercurrent of your preset belief system. So let's put it this way. Let me give you an example. I'm just checking to see if anybody has questions. So if you have questions, feel free to keep typing them in. So think about it this way. You are sitting on a bench in a park reading your book, yes? And there's a place where kids are playing in the sandbox. You're reading your book and all of a sudden you hear a scream and you look up and you find that one of the kids in the sandbox just threw sand on another little kid in the sandbox, and there is a interaction going on. There's the mother of one of the kids is sitting next to you. She leaps off the bench and runs to find a solution for the problem that's taking place between the kids. And you are sitting there. You're not related to any of the kids. You're not related to the mother. You know it's not your job to jump in, obviously. But you are sitting there simply witnessing a situation. Does that make sense? To the extent you can witness something, to that extent, you will have a wider scope, more non-judgmental scope of what's taking place. The mother was also watching the kids. She was watching the kids, but there was an element of attachment to the kids. So as she observed what you observed, her energy, her emotions had to get involved so that she could take care of the situation. But you continue to sit there, you witnessed the situation, and you went back to your book again. Just take a moment and sense that for yourself. You can also close your eyes and just slow your breath down. And you can check in with yourself. In this moment, if you feel the presence of that witness essence, something within you that is simply observing what you are doing. It is simply observing everything that you are deciding is part of your story. It's simply observing. It's not giving you any opinion about it. Simply observing. So just slow your breath down once again. Close your eyes. Lift your heart. Feel that outer shell of your senses where there's so much taking place. And follow your breath again. And as I'm doing this with you, I'm starting to become aware of my thoughts a little more. So there's a layer of your thinking apparatus, your intellect. So now you're observing your intellect, you're becoming a witness to your intellect. And if you keep going, if you keep giving yourself permission, you will start to feel the feelings underneath your thoughts, underneath your actions. And witnessing the feelings is one beautiful somatic way that therapy is used in the present day world. Becoming a witness to these layers of yourself. Feel free to share with me if this was a difficult practice for you, or were you able to sense something in this very short period of time, just as an experiment. So wonderful to see all of you. I'm going to wait for a few comments. Were you able to witness some of these layers? Spirituality can become practical until you can experience it. And I can tell you, experiencing it is right there, sitting with you. You just have to take it as an experiment initially. Okay, as the comments come in, I will move on. So here's the deal. Here's what the yogis would talk about this. They would say, as these layers of yourself, we become farther and farther, the more we start to go farther from our core essence towards the senses, we begin to get disconnected from the witnessing and become more aware of what's taking place in the layers. And whatever you are paying attention to, you begin to attach. So these veilings, these distortions, these layers of maya or mirage that take place, they take place because our awareness begins to move away from our essence and begins to invest itself in all these layers, other layers of our being, without any relationship to the core. There is no problem with having all these layers and having investments in them. But if the connection to the core is not there, then all these three layers come together and begin to create an entangled mess where you don't know what to do with these emotions and feelings. And those emotions and feelings will create further thoughts, and you would not know how to direct those thoughts or what to do with them. but your actions, your senses will want to act on them randomly. And most of us live our lives that way because we watch our prior generations do the same. Like I said, they do gift wrap that lock and key and say, here you go, here's a prison cell for you, because we have been living in it. This is how you're supposed to live it too. So we grow up feeling that we are meant to only engage in these three layers. And that's where our investment goes of time, energy, and space. So the yogis say that is where the mirage begins. But the solution is very simple if you're willing to practice it. If by some grace, willingness, you say, I am done with the pain that I have accumulated in my life by only investing in this entangled mess and making a giant mountain of this mess, these distortions, and then I place my home on top of it, then you will start to go inwards. You will start to go looking for that essence. And most of the seeking in our life, most of the seeking, even the seeking of a relationship that's healthy, that's supportive, is in essence looking for our essence. So from the perspective of these yogis, the solution to the problem is quite simple. The difficulty, the challenge that shows up is our commitment to the solution, because the more we go towards the outer layers, the more our senses can perceive. I can sense and hold this thing. It's material, right? For me, this is real. It's real to my senses. But the more inwards you start to go, things start to get a little more subtle. So that's where we start to make the mistake of thinking the not self as self, which means I will invest my entire attachment in a person or in a career, and I will pretend or I will assume that is my only reality. And by accident or by chance, or like we're watching it here in the world today, if that is pulled, if the delusion is pulled, that bubble is popped for me, then my entire sense of myself begins to crumble, which creates a humongous amount of pain inside of us, and we begin to doubt everything. But I find that the evolution to move from this miraged way of being, the evolution for living in our decorated prison cells, to getting to a place that is free, is not that simple. Because a lot of us, I created 5 stages today, and I'll go over it with you. I find that a lot of us are not wanting to let go of this, even though we are feeling the pain, even though we are feeling the misery, even though we are feeling the lockdown. We are being glued into this tight ball of stress and tension by this delusion. We are still not willing to let it go. And my personal quest has been that, just watching people and saying, why wouldn't we let that go, even though it's giving us pain? So I've done a little bit of witnessing on that. And I find that there's 5 stages to the state of evolution. Stage 1, oblivion. Which means we are not willing to look at our pain yet. And you can see yourself or a lot of people in this world who are in this stage. We are on a roll, we are on a routine, and if something upsets us, we feel we have a right to complain a lot, and all we want to do is go back to our prison, and that would make things normal for us. We talked about that in the prior classes. If life is giving us an opportunity to change and grow, most people in this stage will not want to look at that as an opportunity. They will look at it as an upset. And therefore, go on to stage 2. Which is indulgence. We don't want to look at our pain. We don't want to look at the misery that is being caused by our blindness. Because we don't want to look at it, we double down. We indulge in entertainment, elaborate entertainment schemes that would cover up, that would hide our pain. We create elaborate social structures so we don't have to look at what we need to look at. We can keep ignoring what we need to look at. So just take a moment and check in with yourself. I'm pretty sure most of you are not in stage 1, because if you were in stage 1, this class would not appeal to you at all. So if you're still listening to it, if you're still watching it, well, good thing, you've graduated. But check if you do still engage in stage 2, which is indulgence. That is a way of comforting yourself. Those little pacifiers, I like to call them. Forming little habits, pacifying habits that give you some form of comfort in your pain. But you're still not fully willing to dive into investigating, lifting the covers, and saying, what is this pain? I want to look at it. I want to get rid of it. So tell me, honestly, if you find maybe some parts of your life in this stage. And we can be in different areas of our life. We can be in different stages too. We have a few more comments. So we have a comment says, when you get attached and then have to let go, how do you be gentle with yourself in the grief process of letting go without spiraling into depression? Oh, that's a real question. That is one reason, this pain of letting go of things that we have attached to in our blindness, in our state of mirage. That pain is something that we avoid like the plague. We do. Because that pain is something our mind has no solution for. So it feels if I have to deal with it, I will break apart. I will die. But like I started the class with this word that I posted up here, witnessing. When you are witnessing yourself let go of an attachment, it could be with a person, it could be with something you have spent a lot of time in, could be a career that you're being asked to make a shift from. That fear of letting something go will create a vacuum. It'll create an empty space. And that empty space is very difficult for the human psyche to be okay with unless you turn the lights on. Witnessing means I am turning the lights on in a place where there was darkness, where I was groping my way in darkness, finding my way, maybe thinking maybe this thing will fit with me, this thing will fit with me, this thing will fit with me. And in this process of figuring things out, we tend to make mistakes. This is all a trial and error. Life is a trial and error. But what nobody tells us is that it's okay to make these mistakes. When I can turn the light off my witnessing and say, let me watch myself make that mistake. The moment you do that, huge amount of compassion wells up in your heart, not just for yourself, but for the whole situation. There's a word called neutral mind that we use in Kundalini yoga quite a bit. That state of neutral mind can only be arrived at when this light of witnessing turns on. Until then, the mind is constantly swinging between the pros and the cons, the negatives and the positives. What will serve me? What will not serve me? Because ultimately it all comes down to us. It's all about me. Literally, that's what it comes down to. So your question when you say, how do you be gentle with yourself in the grief process of letting go? Allow yourself to become a witness to the whole story from the beginning to the end. And in that you will find such beauty. That pain that you are so afraid of, only in the state of witnessing does that pain actually become beautiful. And you might find tears of joy coming out of that beauty, because you will see a beautiful story being formed, and your soul, your witnessing essence, acknowledging, that was lovely, but it's not me. I ordered a dish in a restaurant, and I had a different image in my mind when I ordered it because it wasn't in front of me. But when it did come up in front of me and I had a taste of it, I realized, that's not what I wanted. It is beautiful. The chef has worked really hard on it. So I have a choice. I can either say, you know what, it's here now. All right, I'll just have it. But you won't enjoy it, because all that time, somewhere within you, you will feel that's not it, that's not it, that's not real, that's not what I want. Or you can acknowledge it's beautiful, but it's not me. And it can be done with extreme compassion, both for yourself and the other. But please know, the thing that you're trying to avoid is the pain. And as long as you perceive the pain as a pain, your egoic self will not let you get away from it. That is why this light of awareness is the connection that allows you to turn the matrix, the prison, into freedom. The prison, the moment this light turns on, you realize there was no prison in the first place. I had imagined it. There are no walls, there are no bars, there are no locks, there is no pain. It was just an experience. I'm watching the whole play, and I'm allowing myself the experience of the play. And if part of that experience are tears, if part of that experience is upset, that's okay too. Only in our outer 3 layers, we have a strong preference of only pleasure. In stage 2, these 2 parts get a little blurry. When I say indulgence, I find a lot of people indulging in their misery as well. That creates that second mirage that we talked about, where we said painful becomes pleasurable. People start to enjoy their pain. But if you turn that light on of that witnessing, again, there are many techniques to do that, you will be able to see it for what it is without condemning it. And then you can say, thank you very much, but no thanks, doesn't fit. I don't want this misery. I want my joy. And then you will start seeking that third stage. That's when you move to the third stage. You will get into a debate between your old self and what is possible if you go out seeking what's beyond the veil of that Maya. Because now your intuition is telling you, after you're done indulging yourself, it takes a while to get through the stage 2. But when you get into stage 3, I feel this stage is more difficult than any other stage. This is the hardest thing to do, because this is where you are deciding whether you're going to stay as your old self or you are willing to step into the metamorphosis of the new, not knowing what it'll take. This is the stage where you feel that vacuum we just talked about. Letting go of an old thing that you know is not serving, but you haven't yet arrived at a place where the new has showed up. And this stage is very difficult and very painful. That's why most people don't go there. Because you will have to go against the collective consciousness of your tribe, the collective consciousness of your relationship, the collective consciousness of your career or your industry. Because all of these places are putting us in a state of preconceived agreements. So if you are wanting to break that, you will have to go through a phase within yourself where you're constantly debating, should I do this or should I not? If I stay with the old, at least it's familiar. That is what causes the third mirage, mistaking the non-real as real. At least it's safe. At least it's familiar. Because I don't know if I go looking for myself, if I'm ever going to find it. That is why people stay with relationships that are not working. They're miserable in their relationships. Peter and I were talking about that yesterday. But they won't leave that space. And they start to indulge in their misery. They start to gather friends, and over tea or coffee, they enjoy engaging in this conversation on who is more miserable, whose life is more crappy, whose relationship is more messed up. If I'm hitting a nerve with you, become aware, become a witness to that right now. So take a moment and see if you are in stage 3 here, while I read some more comments. So do you find yourself debating a lot? What is real, what is not real? Who you should be? Something is showing up within you. Something is knocking. The essence is starting to connect. But it's difficult to let go of the senses. The whole battle here is between your essence and your senses. And then, if by some miracle you are moving through stage 3, you get to the 4th stage. Seeking but not arriving. And please know, each of these 4 stages you can go in and out of constantly. As you are going through the debating stage, or maybe you're towards the end of the debating stage and you say, you know what? I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to find my own way. And you set off seeking what the truth is, your truth. What am I all about? What is my life all about? What do I want? Those questions that kind of put aside the collective consciousness and shines a light on who you are. When most of us begin this stage of our journey, the ego captures us, the Maya captures us again in this stage. The 3rd stage is very humbling. It's very humbling. It peels away layers and layers and layers of our mask that we've been wearing. And you think, okay, I'm good now. Let me begin the seeking. But a huge trick gets played here. Mistaking the non-self as self. We begin seeking, but we purposely only seek out enough that still matches what our mind can handle. To go from your senses, the outermost layer, to the very core of your being, your essence, directly in one go, is very disturbing for the mind. It can even shock the mind. It can drive people crazy, literally. Therefore, we have very sophisticatedly created these stages of our own evolution. But this stage can become a huge trap. And I find a lot of us who are really truly wanting to pull those curtains away are hanging out here. We have engaged in so many different modalities. We enjoy doing so many rituals and traditions and chantings and so forth. But something, that commitment, that solid commitment to the self, continues to elude us. So just check in with yourself. Do you find yourself hanging out there? Again, you have to be real. Shine that light of witnessing in that space so it can free you to go to the next one. Seeking, but not arriving. This is a wonderful deception. There is action. We have a lot of things that we're doing, but we really don't absorb anything. We have a checklist. We have a lot of Instagram posts about what I'm doing, what's happening, all these wonderful things that I'm engaging in to find myself. But there is no real absorption through any of them. There's a lot of acknowledgement. You hear a lot of things, you read a lot of books, you acknowledge a lot of these truths, but there is no surrender into them. Become aware, witness that for yourself. Shine that light, open yourself up to that without judgment, without bias, without the idea of right or wrong. Say, there I am, let's locate me. Because the moment you do that, you become free for the next stage. And then 5th stage, This is the place where we drop to our knees and we become single-pointedly dedicated to begin to unattach unnecessary investment in any of the layers, with a lot of connection to our essence. Please understand the possibility of you letting go of those investments in your entanglements is not possible until you form a relationship with your essence. So if you are finding moments that where life is challenging you, truly challenging you, it is all it is doing, it is asking you to step up into the next stage. Because you know you can go back to that first stage again. So it is saying, drop to your knees, surrender, commit single-pointedly to yourself, to your journey. And the single-pointed dedication becomes the key to open up your prison door. That single-pointed dedication needs to supersede your dedication to anything else, to your sense of comfort, to your habits, to your relationships, to your career, to anything. That commitment to yourself supersedes every other commitment that you have in all of the other layers of your being. Then and only then, the possibility of untangling the distortions that we have created in our life becomes possible. So I'm going to pause for a moment. So I'm getting comments here. Say, I am in stage 4. Wonderful. Let me know how painful or difficult some of these stages are that you are in. What is your experience of these stages? Acknowledge that fully, out loud, here out to the world. I had a lot more to share with you today, but I think what I've given you so far is enough to digest today. Just checking in with yourself. What stage of my journey am I in? Because unless you shine that light of awareness on that and catch yourself in these processes, it is hard for you to know where you are and where you're moving towards. So my intention in laying out these stages for you is that there is a way, there is a possibility for you to know where you are going. It doesn't have to be in the dark, which is the intention of these classes. I have gone through them, all of them. I didn't just jump all the way to stage number 5. Nobody can. We all have to pass through these stages. So there's no judgment about them. It's like a growth process. You can't go from being 5 to 35. You have to go through every year of your maturity. But once you locate, yeah, I have been in my indulgent state for too long and I'm done. Then you will get into the debating. Am I ready? Should I do this? And you will start seeking out help. You will start to seek out people who can help you through that stage. The earth element is the stickiest part of our existence. Because everything I've shared with you so far, it makes sense to you. It does make sense to you. And you're even saying, yeah, I want to get rid of this. Tell me how to. But before I get into letting you know how to do this, let's locate where you are. And you have to decide for yourself going forward. Do I want this? Am I ready for this? To what extent do I want this in my life? Maybe you can make it piecemeal. You don't have to go all in. But wherever you are, if you're in stage 2, you might take 10% of what I'm saying today and apply it to your life. And that's okay too. But locate yourself. Wonderful comments. So we have one that says, I am in stage 5, but this has been a lovely time to reflect on how far I have come as I have progressed through the stages. Wow, can definitely recognize each stage in this process, a process of years. So that gives heart to those of us who are in stage 2 or stage 3, where we go, it's okay that it will take time. It's okay if you go back and forth. But please know that moving backwards is not an option. Make a real realization in your life that will make your progress a little more faster. And to know that there are people around you who are also going through these stages. And there are people who have gone through them and they do understand what it takes, what you are feeling, what you're experiencing. That's the beginning of your seeking. That's where you begin to seek out the help. And we all need that. And as we go forward, next Friday we will jump into finding pathways, 3 primary pathways, and we can choose that based on our own personal personality and decide how do we want to shine that light of witnessing on our attachments. We will shine that floodlight on our attachments. That might take a few sessions because attachment is the only thing that's causing us our entanglements. Right attachments, serving attachments versus non-serving attachments. So we'll shine that light on next Friday. But I would implore that you please stay with this. Keep witnessing this throughout your week. Don't let this fade away in a corner of your mind. Keep checking in, keep looking at yourself. We'll be doing some exercises right now that'll allow you to really get a feel for yourself. We'll go away from this outer layer of ourselves and go dive a little more deeper. And I guarantee you, if you do the Kriya as suggested, if you practice the meditation as suggested, you will feel your essence. Your essence is not too far away. All it needs is like, I am going to use these tools and I'm going in. I am getting to form a relationship with my essence today. All right. Wherever you are, come sitting up. And again, make sure you don't skip this part, because without the tools, you cannot get to that essence. It's very difficult. Even if you get there, you can't retain it because you only are using your mind. But with the Kundalini Yoga tools, we are getting to that place energetically. We're moving through it energetically. We're not avoiding anything. And yet we're building the strength to retain all these layers of ourselves and create a harmonious relationship between them. All right, so put away your paper and pens. Oops. And bring your hands to your knees. And begin to circle from the base of the spine, closing your eyes, inhaling forward, exhaling back. So just let the body begin to move first. And as the body begins to move, connect your breath into the movement, inhaling forward, exhaling back. Keep going. Now reverse direction. Reverse direction again. And one more time. And inhale, center, please. Exhale. All right. You can sit up, prop yourself up on a bolster or a pillow. We need your spine to be tall. And you're going to create almost like a dance-like movement. You will open up your right arm as you bring the left palm as if you're about to hit your chest, but you really don't. And then you switch. And you will do this fast enough so your breath becomes like breath of fire. Close your eyes, focus at the third eye point, and begin a breath of fire with a constant steady motion of your arms. The set of exercises today is meant to create the sense of clarity in your being, in your mind, where you become clearly observant of your essence. So commit right now, commit with your breath. Your thinking mind will tell you, I don't think I can do this for too long, it's difficult. That's where you've just become a witness to that thought. Say, I will do this as long as I can. And then I will place my hands on my heart, I can rest for a few seconds, and I can begin again. Make every breath a celebration. Whatever is entangling you, whatever is holding you back, keep moving through it with your breath. Keep moving forward. Don't let anything stop you today. Visualize like you're pulling that pranic energy from everywhere you have gotten it entangled, wherever it's getting wasted. Pull that energy back and bring it back to your heart. Go a little faster. Keep your eyes closed. Stay focused at that single point. Somewhere around right now, something within you will tell you to stop. It'll tell you don't go any further, don't do this any longer, you will die. I promise you, you won't. Trust me. Rest, you can always place your hands on your heart. Breathe for a few seconds and get back into it again. It'll clear you up from some of these emotional entanglements. Almost there. 30 more seconds. You can do this. With more enthusiasm, with more commitment. Keep stepping over every padlock, every prison, anything that wants to draw you into its comfort. Keep walking through it. Don't stop. Inhale deeply, open the arms out wide. Apply a root lock, lengthen the spine. Gaze at the crown. Feel your palms, feel the energy emanating from your palms. Exhale, relax the arms down, palms open on the knees. And allow yourself to breathe. Allow the belly to expand on the inhale. Allow it to contract on the exhale. And observe, see if that witnessing has just naturally opened up for you. You can sense a lot more within yourself right now than you did before. Inhale. Exhale. All right, open your arms out wide. Both the elbows are bent. This is your inhale. On the exhale, you will powerfully bring the palms together in front of your face as if you're about to clap, but you don't. You stop right before the palms hit each other. And you open out wide again and bring them together again. Again, your breath will become like breath of fire. Use power to bring your palms together. All right, ready? Let's go. Close your eyes and go for it. It'll make you sweat. It'll open up this pranic energy inside of your chest. It'll open up your lungs. It'll raise your heartbeat. But go for it. You're not just moving your arms back and forth. You want to powerfully bring them together as if you're about to hit the palms together, but you don't. Keep going. Bring more and more power. If you need to pause for a moment, pause. We're not here for too long. So give it your all. Commit. Open up your energy. Or open up your pranic energy. You will see how much of it is just energetic. These veils, these sense of depressions and anxieties are literally just energetic veils. Open them up for yourself. No one else can do this work for you. Only you can do it for yourself. So move from one stage to another. If evolution is what we are after here. Last 20 seconds. You got this. Inhale, open the palms facing forward, elbows are still bent. Apply a root lock. Rectum, sex organs, navel, in and up. Draw the energy up the spine. Focus at the crown. Hold. Exhale, relax the arms down. Palms open on the knees. And breathe. Keep your eyes closed. And this space that you have opened up for yourself will make you become aware of this light that shines inside of you all the time. Except it's just been veiled, it's just been covered over time with a lot of dust. And all you're doing with these exercises, you're clearing that dust away. Beautiful. Breathe, observe, see what you see. Give yourself permission to acknowledge how close this essence is to you, even though it seems so far away, and how easy it can be to get to it. That's what Kundalini Yoga is so masterful at. All right, inhale, exhale. We're going to bend our elbows, and we're going to use our palms to bounce a ball, but we're going to bounce really fast with breath of fire, right? So we're only doing for about 30 seconds. Close your eyes and begin to just move your hands very purposefully up and down, bouncing the ball. Fast, 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 purposeful. Every finger is consciously participating in it. Every part of your body. Everything's been pulled together towards this awareness. Don't let any part of you not participate. We're almost there. And inhale. Apply a root lock once again. Draw the energy up the spine. Focus at the crown. Hold steady. Exhale, open the palms on the knees. Once again, go in and become a witness. Whatever is showing up for you, joy or upset, sadness or beauty, just be a witness. No reaction, no engagement, just watching. Inhale, exhale. Last little exercise. Come lying down on your back. Some of you might find this exercise challenging, but before you go into this exercise, commit to yourself and say, even if it's challenging, I can be compassionate to myself by taking little breaks as I need it, but I'm not giving up. I'm going through with it. And that is the attitude you will need to go through these stages. So come onto your back. Place your palms on your navel, so just below the belly button. Press the palms, just like this, into the navel center. Bring your legs together. Extend both the legs. Point your toes, and you will raise both the heels 6 inches off the floor as you are pressing down on your navel center. And I will suggest pulling your chin in into a neck lock. So let me demonstrate that if it'll make it easier for you. You will place your hands on your navel, legs are together, and you will raise the heels, point the toes, but keep the chin drawn in. And you are breathing long, slow, and deep as you pressurizing the navel center with your palms. Long, slow, deep breathing, just watching everything that's taking place within you. This is a great practice in becoming a witness to your discomfort. And I promise you, if you keep watching it, if you keep observing it, something will change. The quality of that discomfort will change. Giving yourself permission to take a break if you need to rest your heels down just for a few seconds, and then lift them up again. Close your eyes and just become a witness to everything that's taking place within you. The more you go towards that neutral, you will find yourself not even asking how long is this going to last. You will simply just be a witness to what's taking place. No preference, no desire, no aversion. Call upon your essence. Call upon your essence. Go to your breath, deepen your breath. Hold me tonight. Hold me tonight. Keep going. If you need to modify, you can place your hands underneath the lower back or the hips, and then raise the heels as long as you can. Rest when you need to, but keep going. We're almost there. But don't judge yourself for anything. Just be a witness. This is the practice. Out of judgment, out of entanglement, into pure awareness. Last few seconds, you're almost there. Breathe, trust yourself. Always within me, love of my life. Hold me tonight. Hold me tonight. Inhale, hold. Exhale, please lower the heels down. Open the arms out by the sides. And breathe, rest. Keep your eyes closed. Stay in observation. Let the energy balance and untangle what it needs to. Inhale slowly. Exhale. On the next inhale, please raise your arms overhead. Stretch yourself tall in opposite directions. Exhale and slowly draw the knees in towards the chest. Just rest here for a few moments. And then rock side to side, massaging the lower back. And now begin to rock back and forth on the spine. And slowly, as you feel ready, please rock yourself up to a seated position. We are going to go about 10 to 15 minutes over because I do want to do this meditation with you. So as you come sitting up, place your left palm in the middle of your chest and press in with the right. Just take a moment with a gentle pressure, not too strong, just a gentle pressure. Become aware of this pulse within you. That's giving you life. That's forming all the layers of your being. We're going to use a mantra. Pavan Pavan, Pavan Pavan, Parapara, Pavan Guru, Pavan Guru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Pavan Guru. The mantra is also written down here. The idea of Pavan is this etheric sense of presence within us. It resides in your breath. It resides in the air element within you. And if you move this etheric sense of self, move this air element through you in your breath, that guru that has the wisdom, that has that witnessing capacity, allows you to become aware of everything. The answers to everything in your life are sitting right here in front of you. You just have to become aware of them. So you're calling on that Pavan Guru, you're calling on that wisdom through your breath, through that air element. And say, wow, you're coming. We don't even know where you're coming from, but here you are within me. Let me become aware of everything as it is in its pure truth inside of me. So as you settle into the mantra, feel free to listen to it a couple of times. And when it calls you, join in, chant along. If it doesn't call you to chant along, close your eyes and listen to it and breathe. Follow your breath deeply. Let that Pavan Guru guide you to that place of wisdom within you. All right. When you're ready, you can close your eyes or you can keep them open to read along with the mantra. So Pavana Pavan, Pavana Pavan, almost 4 times we're repeating it. Parapara, Pavan Guru, we repeat this again. Pavan Guru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Pavan Guru. It's a simple chant, you'll get the hang of it. All right, here we go.
Pavana, 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 Parapara, Pavan Guru, Pavan Guru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Pavan Guru. Pavana, 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 Parapara, Pavan Guru, Pavan Guru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Pavan Guru.
Take a slow, deep inhale between each repetition.
Pavana, 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 Parapara, Pavan Guru, Pavan Guru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Pavan Guru. Pavana, 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 Parapara, Pavan Guru, Pavan Guru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Pavan Guru.
Call on this awareness, call on it. Truly call on it. Use the words of the mantra to become that call, that invitation. Wherever you are, however far you are, come into me. Even if you mess up, keep going, don't stop. one at a time. Keep surrendering all of your entanglements, all the places that cause discomfort and pain, all the doubts, all the fears. Drop them into this river of the mantra. Let this mantra carry it wherever it needs to go. Offer it up. Open your voice, open your heart. Surprise yourself with your own voice. It doesn't need to be pretty, it just needs to be yours. Give yourself permission to surrender into this unknown space. Last round. please inhale deeply. Exhale. Relax the palms down in your lap. And just sit in the silence. Observe, witness what's taking place right now. Witness if you feel different than when you came into the class. Again, just become a witness to it. Breathe. And just like that, there's your essence. That's all it took. And if you commit yourself to this journey, it gets easier and easier to access this essence. If you are in relationship with this essence, then all veils continue to lift. You see things as they need to be seen. You see where we got entangled, all those past moments where we couldn't see, when we couldn't have this connection with our essence. Witness how many entanglements we made along the way. Smile at them. Don't judge them. Smile at them. Knowing all you need to know is that they're there, and now I know what to do. In this space, and you can share this with me after we are done, please type into that space of the comments and let me know what you felt. Share with me if you felt that essence. And if in the space you feel free, there's no bondage, there's nothing holding you back. Even the pain is lovely in the space. Let's place our hands on our hearts again. And from the space of your essence, send a long time sunshine prayer to anyone whom you have thought to be the reason for your pain, the reason for your upset. From the space of compassion, send them this prayer. Keep your eyes closed and slow your breath down. And you can chant along.
May the long time sun shine upon you, and all the way on.
Forgive yourself for your own mistakes
May
now.
the long time sun shine upon you, and all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide
Take a deep inhale. Exhale out through the mouth. Peace to all. Blessings to all. Love to all. If you're called, wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a hug. Just hold yourself as you are. Satnam. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you as we continue this journey. It's only going to become interesting from here. Satnam. So beautiful.